Yep, let's do it. We're up.
Well, good. I guess it's lunchtime now, so not really good morning anymore. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker, and I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas. We have some thunderstorms moving into western sections of Arkansas. We have a severe weather risk today that we've been discussing at length the last couple of days. And we do have severe thunderstorm warnings that are moving into western and northwestern Arkansas at this time. Some of the severe thunderstorm warnings have been extended out of Oklahoma into northern sections of Crawford County, far southern sections of Benton County, and then a large chunk of Washington County. That includes the cities of Prairie Grove, Fayetteville, Johnson, and Springdale. And Blaze, looks like we've got some more activity to the south that we're watching as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of development on radar, and not only do we have this moving through, but we're also going to be watching this afternoon and evening for another round of some severe weather. But still, there's some questions right now, Zach, with how strong is the instability and does the cap break? That's what we're watching.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I think maybe we have this round of storms now that we're dealing with, and if you're just now joining us, we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings in western and northwest Arkansas. Excuse me. I think it's possible that we might have maybe a break in the early part of the afternoon after this system or this part kind of clears out, and then additional bouts of activity later today. If you saw some of the updates we had on social media this morning, I think it's possible that we have new development this afternoon and this evening, and that will include some severe weather potential, maybe a tornado or two, but we're just going to have to see on that. I think that the ingredients are there to have maybe a tornado or two, but it's January. It's always tough in January. If one thing goes wrong, it really ruins the setup. So I suppose we'll see what happens here over the next several hours.
Yeah, I mean, those wind fields are very strong. So regardless of, the severe weather threat, just letting you know, those non-thunderstorm wind gusts are going to be pretty strong. So, I think, Zach, it would be a good idea for people to tie down things, things that can blow away quickly, because I mean, it could get pretty windy out there. I mean, we're already starting to see it in north central Arkansas here, those wind gusts, and they're going to continue to increase. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think non-thunderstorm related gusts to 30, 40 miles an hour today. So if you have outdoor decorations that you haven't put up from Christmas, not judging, you might just put them up and put them in the garage just in case. And then, of course, we have thunderstorms as well possible today that could produce their own strong gusts as well. So we see the chats over here. Brandon Rice and Judy saying watching from Muldrow and Clarksville. We appreciate you guys watching. I just want to make very clear we do not have any tornado warnings at this time as of 11:21 a.m. Looking out statewide, we have we have a large part of the state that's clear. So if you're watching this in Little Rock or Conway or Jonesboro or Pine Bluff, you might be wondering, what are they talking about? There ain't nothing going on here. And there's not. But that could happen later today. The main focus now is here in western and northwestern Arkansas, if I could zoom correctly. So that's our focus for the time being as these storms move into Prairie Grove, West Fort, Fayetteville, Johnson, Springdale, and so on.
Well, and these are very populated areas. And so, I know we're getting closer to that lunch hour. People are probably fixing to take lunch. So just be mindful that very heavy rain is moving through the area. And I think there's gusty winds associated with this too. So, again, like we've been stressing, if you have anything, this is your heads up right now across Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, it's a little too late now. But, east of this area, maybe tie down things that can blow away because it's a pretty strong storm moving through.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we kind of anticipated having a few rowdy storms moving through not only western Arkansas, but other parts of the state as well. These storms in Oklahoma have been pretty noisy and I think even caused some damage this morning. I would have to double confirm that, but I know we had some tornado warnings in central Oklahoma this morning, and this is a part of that same complex moving off to the east. I know we've talked a lot about northwest Arkansas, but if you're watching this and you live in the Fort Smith area, maybe in eastern Oklahoma, Van Buren, Cedarville, those storms to your west are moving east-northeast, I believe. So it's going to be probably pretty close. Some of this, the tail end might catch you, but I think a large part of this is going to stay focused in that northwest Arkansas area this morning and into the early afternoon before this moves off to the east-northeast.
Well, and if anybody's watching from the U of A, and you're changing classes, you definitely, I hope, Zach, people brought their rain jacket as well as, an umbrella, because it is pouring down rain and it's going to continue for Fayetteville. And this is good, though, with the rain because we need it.
Yeah, we need some rain. I know that I had a comment this morning from somebody, I think it was in northwest Arkansas, maybe in Fayetteville, that, was a little bit upset that they weren't going to get a lot of rain. And I was like, well, it might rain a little bit today. Not going to be an all-day soaker, but, Yeah, we need more. We have some areas that are in pretty bad drought conditions. Guys, if you're watching this live stream, no matter what platform it is, we're live on multiple platforms, please be sure to leave a comment and let me and Blaze know if the video quality looks good and what the audio sounds like on your end. If we're still young in this and in a new platform, new technology, so we're trying to make this the best possible that we can. So in those comments, those responses help us. I know Blaze is our developer, does all of our tech stuff for us, so much appreciated if you can give us some feedback this morning as we cover these storms.
Jasmine says, watching from Bentonville, was going to go out and grab lunch, but maybe not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it might be a DoorDash kind of day, or
Shout out
Uber.
to our DoorDash
So,
drivers.
Exactly.
Yeah. We do have tornado watches, not tornado warnings, but tornado watches for Benton and Washington County. You can see the red highlighted boxes. There's some in eastern Oklahoma as well. We do not have any tornado warnings in Benton or Washington County right now, just a severe thunderstorm warning for a large part of Washington County and a small sliver of Benton County. And then, of course, that small sliver severe thunderstorm warning here in northwestern Crawford County, north and northwest of Mountainburg and Cedarville. No tornado warnings at this time, but I wouldn't be surprised, Blaze, if we don't have a few more tornado watches or maybe severe thunderstorm watches later today in other parts of the state. So,
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be a focus on central Arkansas as well as north central Arkansas. I mean, a couple of the computer models were indicating maybe some isolated cells later this afternoon and evening. And as always, the Arkansas Weather Network team will be here and we'll be keeping an eye on things. And the cool thing is we're ready to go live. We can go live anytime,
Yep.
So if there's a tornado warning, we're going to be on it. We're going to be keeping an eye on it and we're going to keep you updated. So,
yeah. Based off of everything that I'm seeing here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the National Weather Service chat real quick and check, kind of see what the National Weather Service in Tulsa is saying about this storm. They did have, this is not in Arkansas, but there was roof damage to homes in eastern Oklahoma based off of this complex. So as these storms move into the area in Washington, Crawford, Benton counties, and of course downstream areas as well, certainly have to keep an eye out for wind damage potential. I know there's a lot of discussion about tornadoes today that generally gets the spotlight, guys, but I think that the wind damage potential today, we could have isolated pockets of stronger wind gusts in these storms. So that's something we'll have to keep a close eye on. If you get a severe thunderstorm warning where you live, take it serious. And of course, tornado warnings as well, watching the potential for that. So
and
thank you for all the
type of setup
responses.
this is, we don't think there's going to be much of a hail threat with this. Maybe some small hail and stuff, but
Yeah.
we're not seeing any signs of any large hail with this. So that's good news, because that would mean heavy rain. But again, like
Yeah.
Zach was saying, there's still that low tornado risk as well as a damaging wind risk. But I really want to stress that you can have a storm with lightning and heavy rain, but you can get non-thunderstorm winds associated with that, and the mix together just seems it can seem like a really bad storm or a lot worse than what it really is. So I'm just throwing that out there that, storms may seem more intense than what they truly are because of the non-thunderstorm wind gusts connected.
Emily says, what about Madison County? These storms will eventually move into Madison County here over the next hour or so. Obviously, they're still to your west, but that will likely move in here fairly soon. Samantha says, what time for Northeast Arkansas? We also got a comment from Greene County, so in Northeast Arkansas as well. If we have storms in Northeast Arkansas, it'll probably be later today, well after lunchtime, mid to late afternoon, maybe even the evening hours, after 5, 6, 7 o'clock, before anything reaches you later today as far as anything substantial. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Watching from Mountain View, getting a lot of responses, Blaze. I'm really excited about the response so far.
Yeah.
Just a generic live about it's a severe thunderstorm warning. So
A lot of comments, people jumping in here. And, that's the thing about what we do. It's so interactive. You can comment. We can see your comments. We can, chat with you. I think that's really awesome.
yeah. Yes, it is. We're watching, of course, even though this is a severe thunderstorm warning and not a I wish I could talk this morning, and not a tornado warning. Certainly watching for any potential circulations with this as it moves into Fayetteville, central Washington County, Prairie Grove, West Fork, Greenland, Fayetteville. But right now, I don't see anything too substantial. We'll keep a close eye on that, but maybe some stronger wind gusts as this moves into Fayetteville. We can zoom in close. I know that not everyone watching lives in Fayetteville, but I think one thing that we really like about our radar system here is if need be, we can really zoom in close and get a lot of detail off of this. If we're zooming into Fayetteville, for example, if we need to go down and zoom into Greenland, or maybe if it's in Walnut Grove or Prairie Grove. So really like the ability to zoom in close, get hyper local for those of you who need a little bit more information about where the storm's moving into. It looks like some heavy rain headed for 49. Blaze, you see this?
Yes, that's Interstate 49. Anybody in that area, just be mindful. I bet you on iDrive Arkansas, I hate to say it, but typically when we see a lot of heavy rain through there, we start to see some accidents. So I'm hoping that we don't see that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting reports of that. The National Weather Service, looking at what they just said, they have canceled, they've canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Benton County. Southwestern Benton County.
They just trimmed it off. I just got it. Let me go to the now here. Yep, they just trimmed it off. It's only in Washington and parts of Crawford County now. It's going to be close for northern Sebastian County, but I'm kind of wondering if they just keep that in Crawford, to be honest with you. So
yeah. But regardless, very heavy rain. There's a lot of lightning with the storm. So just, I think it's a good idea if you have things plugged in, you might unplug them, but still have that weather radio, still have our app, still keep an eye on things. But, lightning's dangerous, and it's good to be safe.
Tracy's asking about Rogers, which is, of course, in Benton County. Rogers is here. There is some thunderstorm activity, rain and thunderstorms that are in the region, but I think the worst of this, Tracy, is to your south and is going to be moving off to the east-northeast. I think the worst of it's probably passing through your area now.
So
Lauren says, what about Dyer? I was really looking forward to rain. There is some rainfall potential today across most of the state. It's just a little bit more scattered. This is obviously a little bit more organized, but I think a large part of the state will have more scattered opportunities compared to this through the day. So I can't rule it out, but it's not just a slam dunk chance for rain for most of us, unfortunately.
So here's some good news. The National Weather Service in Tulsa has canceled the tornado watch for Benton and Washington counties in Arkansas.
Cool.
So that is great news.
Great news. Somebody said that the live stream did have a problem on the app, Blaze, so we'll look at that when we're done here in a few. Thank you for letting us know. I appreciate that, Misty. Samantha says, what about Mountainburg? We've talked about Mountainburg a little bit. Mountainburg's here in Crawford County. It does look like a bulk of the thunderstorm rain activity is to your west, Samantha. And this is going to be moving off to the east-northeast. So some of it might catch you here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that. You're not under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time.
Well, anyone in Cedarville, up towards Mountainburg, Alma, Van Buren, Zach, this is a pretty strong storm that's moving through the area. And I think that, again, I know we're really close to lunchtime. So anyone that's going out to eat, as the lunch starts, you want to make sure you're bringing that umbrella. You've got that raincoat because this is very heavy rain. And then if you are traveling, I do think, with the non-thunderstorm wind gust, with the heavy rain, I do think visibility could be an issue, especially on, like we were talking about, Interstate 49, Interstate 40. Please just be careful if you have to travel because the conditions are not going to be ideal for that.
We got a lot of people asking about other parts of the state. I'm going to take off this real quick and pull up the Futurecast and show you guys kind of what we're looking at as we go through the day today, and then we'll go right back to radar. I posted this on my Facebook earlier this morning. These storms later today, this is just what radar could look like. It's not a slam dunk. Don't take it for the gospel. But this model, the HRRR, does produce some stronger thunderstorms this evening from north central Arkansas near Batesville down to Clinton, west of Little Rock, all the way down to Arkadelphia. And guys, these storms here could be strong to severe. I can't guarantee you that all of them will be, but myself, meteorologist Blaze Thomas, meteorologist James isn't with us right now, but we discussed this morning and we felt like there might be a corridor here in central parts of the state. A couple hour window from, we'll just say maybe 4 to 8. I'm just kind of spitballing there, maybe 4 to 8 o'clock, where there's a better isolated tornado potential, maybe a tornado warning or two. So I've seen a lot of comments from Clarksville, some from Searcy. Just take this kind of for what it is. This is a universal thing. These storms are going to continue east. And I think the severe weather risk will go down late tonight as we eventually clear the area. So hopefully that answers any questions that some of you might have about later tonight.
But as always, we're going to be keeping a close eye on things, especially as these storm chances will continue throughout the afternoon and evening. We want to reiterate, this is not going to be an outbreak by any means. No reason to panic. But we do think there could be a few isolated severe storms in the mix. But, here's the thing, Zach. We know this. We need the rain. We will take the rain. I just wish we weren't seeing severe storms.
Yeah.
Somebody just commented on YouTube about a duck hunter and said, any chance we get a surprise 2 inches of rain in the Delta? I will tell you that rain chances are better, I think, the next 2 days in eastern Arkansas. So hopefully that helps you guys get some rainfall down there. And we need some cold weather for you guys, get some ducks in here. So hopefully that'll come in the next 2 or 3 weeks as well. Eleanor says, thank you all for keeping Arkansas in the know and keeping us safe. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys watching and following. Melissa's in Polk County.
That's my grandma, Eleanor.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Someone asked about Polk County Blaze. It looks to me like, for now, the worst of this is going to stay well north of Mena and Polk County. So,
yeah, I think so. I mean, and to me, as of right now, I think, honestly, I mean, they're going to see some heavy rain, yes, but any severe weather, there's really no threat at this time for that area, which is good news. That's great news for those people.
if you're just now joining us, my name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker, and I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas here, the Arkansas Weather Network, and we are discussing thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms this morning, or I guess this afternoon, whatever you want to call it. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in northwestern Crawford County and a large chunk of Washington County, in places like Fayetteville, Springdale, Johnson. Very rural, of course, parts of northwestern Crawford County. If you've ever driven up Highway 59, like you're going to Siloam from Cedarville, that area is impacted. Probably not a fun drive in the mountains in this rain and storms. And of course, the 49 corridor from Mountainburg north to Fayetteville is also being impacted by that. If you're about to travel through this area and you're listening to me and Blaze, you might take it slow because I'm sure it's going to be a mess on 49. It's a mess on 49 when it's dry, Blaze. I can't imagine now driving through
We've got a new warning that's just been issued.
All right.
New severe thunderstorm warning. This will be for Crawford, Madison County. I'm pulling it up right now. It'll pop up on our map here in a second.
Did this come through the chat, National Weather Service chat?
Yep, there it is right there. Yep.
Okay, so we've got a new warning. Blaze, do you want to take this one and talk about the warning for a second? I want to look at something real quick. Checking my
I'm pulling it up right now. So the National Weather Service in Tulsa has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be in effect for southwestern Madison County in northwestern Arkansas, northern Franklin County in west central Arkansas, Crawford County in northwestern Arkansas, southeastern Washington County in northwestern Arkansas until 12:30 p.m. Let's see. At 11:35 a.m., a severe thunderstorms were located 5 miles north of Roland, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. Wow, that's moving quick, Zach. That is moving quick.
That's good. It's in a hurry to get to its next destination, isn't it?
It is. Some of the locations impacted include Mountainburg, Van Buren, Rudy, Muldrow, Short, Winslow, Lee Creek, and Blackburn. So that's
a lot of
new severe thunderstorm.
A lot of that's in Crawford County. I think Short is actually in Oklahoma, but I could be wrong. So you guys heard Blaze. These stronger storms that are moving into Crawford County out of Oklahoma right now, impacting a large chunk of Crawford County. I think Van Buren and Alma, for you guys in Van Alma and 64 and going down towards Mulberry, I feel like the worst of this is probably going to stay north of you. We'll keep an eye on it. But if you live in Mountainburg or if you live in Cedarville, you're certainly under that severe thunderstorm warning. And this does include a large chunk of 49 all the way up to the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. So if you're going to Fayetteville for some reason, going to work, you're going to or from north or south on 49 back to Fort Smith, you could encounter this on your travels. So please be safe. Could be a little bit cranky as you drive through it.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up iDrive Arkansas and just kind of take a look and see if we're getting any reports of any accidents yet in that area. Because I'm afraid that, there is some accidents. Looks like we got 2 that is in, let's see where this is. We got 2 in Washington County, mile marker 67.8. And then there's another wreck just to the north of it. That's going to be northbound on the left shoulder near exit 69. Then we got one more accident. I don't think it's weather related, though. It's up around Morrilton, Conway County. It looks like exit 107. So just be mindful, anyone traveling in that area on Interstate 40, that there is that accident. But, I suspect that we could see some more of these accidents, especially because I think as this moves through, visibility is going to be cut pretty significant. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that rain and storms could certainly contribute to traffic problems today, especially later if we have isolated storms at drive time, 4 to 6. Mary, I saw your comment. I don't want to forget you before we move on. Mary Ann says, people are saying tornadoes for tomorrow in Jonesboro. Some of the data that I looked at this morning for tomorrow seems like it shoves a lot of the greatest storm fuel well south of Jonesboro, but we will follow up on that for you later today as we can continue to cover Thursday, Mary. I think the worst concern, though, is going to be well south of Jonesboro, though, in southeast Arkansas tomorrow. That's kind of where we're watching for the moment. Jason says, I don't think they're reading comments on this page. I have not heard any answered. Yeah, but we're answering questions, buddy. Maybe you just didn't see your question. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. We'll be sure to help. Tamara says it's windy in Muldrow, but only rained here for a few minutes. She's in eastern Oklahoma, Blaze. They're not far from the state line.
Gotcha. We got another severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued. This is going to include Berryville, Eureka Springs, up towards Garfield, Goshen. Rogers is technically not in it, but it's at the very edge. There it is. It just popped up. You want me to read it, Zach?
Yeah, go ahead and read that. Blaze is going to read off the severe thunderstorm warning information for this new warning for Madison and Carroll County and parts of Benton County.
So the National Weather Service in Tulsa has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Benton County in northwestern Arkansas, northwestern Madison County in northwestern Arkansas, western Carroll County in northwestern Arkansas, central Washington County in northwestern Arkansas until 12:30 p.m. It says at 11:39 a.m. a severe thunderstorm was located over Drake Field Airport, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. So there's the difference there, guys, because the previous severe thunderstorm warning just to its south was moving at 65 miles per hour, and then this storm is moving at 45 miles per hour. So a little bit slower, the north part of this line. But this does include portions of Beaver Lake, Elkins, Rock House, over towards, Pleasant Ridge, Best, Drake Field Airport, and Farmington. So those areas, be mindful there is that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This is not a tornado warning, and there is no tornado possible tag to it. Previously, there was a couple warnings that had that, but this does not. So really, this is just the concern here. Looks like 60 miles per hour wind gust associated with these storms moving through the area. So again, it can interfere with your lunchtime commute. He's getting a track on it right now. Zach, I'll let you tell him. Zach, we just lost you on audio. I don't know what happened. We had you and then we lost you. That was weird. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Can you hear me?
You can hear? Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you. That was weird.
Sorry about
that. It just dropped out.
No, I touched it. That's why I don't touch any of the technical stuff, and I just let you do it because I always mess something up. I was just going to say, I just kind of put a general track out. This is not super specific, but you can see here the new severe thunderstorm warning. If you're watching this, if you're up by Beaver, it might be closer to 1220. If you live in Clifty, Pine Top, if you live in Spring Valley, maybe War Eagle Cove, here over the next 20, 30 minutes to an hour is when those storms are likely going to impact you. And that goes all the way up to Carl Lane, Grandview, Oak Grove, and so on. So I just kind of wanted to use that track to kind of give people an idea. We are getting a lot of comments about the storms later today. Rosa, we are live on YouTube. Blaze, I'm going to pull that up real quick one more time.
Okay.
And show people who maybe are just now joining. Guys, we do have the storms now we're discussing, but we have more storms later today that could cause some problems. Me and Blaze have talked about this a little bit. There is some ingredients there, Blaze, as we've discussed. Maybe for a tornado or two tonight. Don't think there's going to be widespread crazy issues. Not going to be a tornado outbreak, but maybe a few storms that try to be a little cranky this evening in that 4 to 8 p.m. hours across parts of the state. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the thing. One thing I am noticing, and I know you noticed this too. They're looking more isolated in nature in terms of the cell instead of a line, and so that does. I'm not saying the tornado threat goes up by that, but what that does mean is that if storms can isolate themselves in an environment that is supportive and with the winds, then you have to think that the tornado threat might be going up just a little bit, but still low. It is still a low threat. I want to stress that. But, the threat does increase when storms are more isolated versus a line of thunderstorms moving through. But, we do see signs that it does kind of form into a line, which means the wind gust would increase with that. But again, the good news is the hail threat is low for tonight. So that's great because I know people don't want hail damage. But we still got to deal with, the wind threat as well as, the isolated tornado risk.
It just, to me, I've been doing this for a minute, and it seems like every time that you have storms that form in the peak heating hours of the day, even in January, they're somewhat isolated, can remain structured. They have the wind fields to play with, and there's enough instability. A lot of times, it seems like they just try to find a way to do it, even if it's just one. So that kind of has me a little bit on alert for tonight, getting this signal from the data. I'm kind of hoping the signal goes away. But I do think that there's a chance that as we go through the evening hours, we can loop it for you guys. These storms are going to move through a large part of the state. This is the 8:30 p.m. hours, and this will continue east into eastern Arkansas tonight from that 8, 9, 10 o'clock hour. And some of these storms could be strong as well before this system completely exits the area late Friday night and into Saturday morning. So we'll go back to live radar now and make sure we're on top of these storms, severe thunderstorms that are moving through northwest and west central Arkansas.
Yeah, it's just this one line that we're tracking right now. But again, like Zach was saying, we got to watch afternoon and evening for more, more thunderstorm potential. And as always, the Arkansas Weather Network will be here to keep you updated. And I want to stress this. Download our app, Arkansas Weather Network. It does have notifications. It will alert you of storms, severe storms. It's got all the information you need. And also you can pull up our live stream directly from the app.
Yep, app, or, live on Facebook, YouTube. Someone asked about YouTube earlier, all platforms. So Forever Decor said, should Fort Smith be worried? No, not right now. It does look like Sebastian County as a whole has been excluded from this warning. The worst of it is well north of Fort Smith and Crawford, moving off to the east-northeast. We'll put a track on this as well. I didn't do that earlier for these storms that are moving off to the east-northeast. Mountainburg at 1202, Banyard-Sherburg, Artist Point, all at 1207. The Bobby Hopper Tunnel, probably closer to 1208, and all the way down to Wyola and Sunset around 1220. So those storms are moving off to the east-northeast through Crawford County and eventually up into northern counties to the northeast of Crawford County as well. But I think Fort Smith is going to be excluded from the worst of it. Doesn't mean you won't get some rainfall here in the next 30 to 45 minutes, though.
Yeah, and just want to reiterate, the fact that yes, we are tracking severe storms and they're impacting a lot of area. But I also think that some people may start seeing these non-thunderstorm wind gusts and they may be like, where's this coming from? Well, we've got a front moving through the area and that is going to bring some strong wind gusts that are non-thunderstorm related, which means you could get heavy rain and then 40 miles per hour wind gusts that are not connected to thunderstorms. I just want to stress that because sometimes storms look a lot worse and they act a lot worse than what they really are on radar. So
yeah,
it could seem a lot worse.
Gizzy said, should Jonesboro be worried? Not right now. Maybe later tonight, have some storms we'll have to keep a close eye on. But for now, no need to be concerned at this time. And then tomorrow, I think the most of it is going to be well south of Jonesboro. We'll follow up on that, but no, I don't think you're... How about Glenwood this afternoon, says Daniel. We could have some thunderstorms that form later today. It could be, later in the afternoon after the round that moves through that we're covering at this time. But for the most part, it's tough to say exactly for a spot like Glenwood. Reason being is because we could have isolated storms rather than widespread. Some of these storms this morning in northwest Arkansas are a little bit more widespread. Later today, it could be a little bit more isolated.
Somebody's asking, we're seeing a lot of comments, Central Arkansas, Cross County, Van Buren, seeing some stuff about Russellville. If you're in Central Arkansas, North Central Arkansas, please be mindful that, yes, this first round may not be impacting you, but we do expect there to be a second round of development if the cap breaks. That's a key thing right there, Zach. And that's what I want to stress is that there is a cap in place and people are seeing that. It's really foggy, it's cloudy, and if that cap starts to break, that's going to allow those thunderstorms to start to develop. And there's a chance they don't develop. But what we're seeing in the newest model guidance, we're pretty confident that we're going to see something this afternoon into the evening. And just the question is, how unstable are we? How much wind? How much wind shear do we have? I think we got a lot of wind shear, but I think there's a lot of questions as to instability. That could be lacking, and I'm very thankful for that. But still, we got to watch it because it's kind of a happy medium.
Got to watch it. Adriana says, doing deliveries in Greenwood, how does it look for this area? Maybe some rainfall here in the next hour, but no severe thunderstorms at this time in Greenwood. Tricia said, should Norfolk worry? Man, I can't talk this morning. Should Norfolk worry? Blaze kind of covered that just a second ago in north central Arkansas. We have potential here through the next few hours and then maybe later this afternoon. I don't think anyone needs to be significantly worried about today. Most of you will have no problems whatsoever, but we have to watch for a storm or two this afternoon, and of course what we have at hand right now, which Blaze, if you want to go ahead and touch on this real quick, I feel like we haven't talked about this in a couple minutes while I look at some more comments.
Yeah, we'll jump in here. We'll take a zoom a little bit and see some areas that are impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. So Goshen over towards Fayetteville. I do think the strongest part of this storm is now east of Fayetteville, so that's good news. Still seeing some heavy rain probably for the Fayetteville area. Greenland, on the very edge of it, West Fork, I think it's just kind of, you can see that most of these cities like Greenland, West Fork, Fayetteville, it's to the east now, but I still think there's going to be heavy rain. Now, Elkins, Goshen down to Elkins, this is going to be moving towards your direction in the next few minutes. And I think very heavy rain with this and some gusty winds. Huntsville, you're probably seeing a little bit of light rain. You're probably like, what's going on? Well, the strongest storm is actually towards your west. That will be moving off towards the east. And then we look a little bit closer. I can zoom in just a little bit more here. And we can see over here towards 62, Garfield, Pea Ridge. This storm is done. There's no severe thunderstorm warning in effect for your area anymore. Bentonville, I believe, is out of the warning, so that looks pretty clear to me. Yep. Highfield, same story, Siloam Springs. So really our main focus for these severe storms right now is West Fork up to Fayetteville, Elkins, and then Huntsville will be heading towards that direction. This is really starting to give me kind of a signal here, Zach, as some strong winds moving towards or right around the Cedarville area. And I would say Mountainburg, you probably want to be keeping a very close eye on this storm because I think that's got some embedded wind gust with it.
Yeah, it's got a tight little gradient on it. Usually a pretty good sign that the winds are pretty gusty on that. Real quick, Jennifer, we do have an app. It's called the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app. It's on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It's free. Yeah, you can see there on I-49, anyone from this part of the state's familiar with 49, from the Bobby Hopper down to Alma, and then of course over to Fort Smith and Van Buren. But this is moving off to the east-northeast. And if you are in Mountainburg, if you're on I-49, there's a good chance that you're going to encounter this, and it's probably going to be, probably have some pretty strong wind gusts with it. Of course, you're under severe thunderstorm warning, and then heavy rain as well. Make driving conditions a little rough there for a few minutes. So just a heads up, if you're listening to us while we're covering this and you're in that area, there's a good chance it's going to get a little cranky there in just a few minutes. What time is it now? It's 11:52. I can do a track on this real quick, Blaze.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we're talking in Mountainburg in the next, that's not right. That time's not right. See that? That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But, these storms are going to be in Mountainburg here in the next, I'd say 20 minutes, the most. Maybe not even that long, 30 minutes at the absolute maximum, as these move off to the east-northeast and the other parts of Crawford County and so on up to Madison County there east of Winslow. Obviously, south of Huntsville, pretty rural area of our state, but people still live up there and going to be impacted by these storms as they move through.
They do. I want to take a look, just south of Fort Smith, over towards Greenwood, Mena, DeQueen. Guys, there's really nothing here. The only thing is a small little band of rain, but I don't see any signs of, any kind of critical severe weather right now. The main focus is really this area, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, and even Rogers is kind of in the clear now at this point. But once this main line moves through, that's round one. And then, like we've been telling you, there's going to be round two, and we think it's going to be closer to the afternoon, evening time frame. So,
Carla says, what state is this? We are in Arkansas. This is the Arkansas Weather Network. We cover Arkansas weather. Swerve Strickland says, is West Little Rock good? You're good for now. We'll watch for storms later this afternoon, Swerve, and this evening. Some of them could be strong. It's going to be scattered, so I can't guarantee anything, but we'll keep an eye on it. And then last one, Charissa's asking about Madison County. Blaze, I think Madison County's under severe thunderstorm warning. Southern parts of the county. Well,
They
no,
are,
I
yeah.
guess north and
Somebody's
south.
Yeah, somebody just asked, is there any tornado in that storm? No, and there's no tornado possible tag either with these
Okay.
storms. So looking at what we're seeing right now, it strictly looks like wind mainly with this.
Looks like a new tornado warning was issued just in Missouri, I think. I'm guessing that's way up there north of Springfield. I was just curious if that was just north of the border. So no tornado warnings in Arkansas at this time. And the tornado watches, even though it's still populated on our map, I think those have been canceled. Correct, Blaze? Benton and Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So tornado watches have been canceled. We have no active tornado watches anymore in Arkansas. So that's great news for now. Blaze, Jason Cloud reported that there's a wreck at mile marker 69 in northwest Arkansas. So if for some reason somebody's watching and you're near that area and you're traveling, just a heads up, there is an accident that has been reported there.
And looking at iDrive Arkansas, they went ahead and it looks like the accident that was being reported right around Interstate 40, Morrilton area. It does appear that that's cleared, so that's good news. But again, very heavy rain moving through the area. And again, I want to stress this, and Zach, I know you can see this too. This looks like some pretty strong winds heading towards Chester, Mountainburg. I do think it may miss Alma, but really Mountainburg, Winslow, that's a pretty good sign right there of some damaging winds associated with these storms.
Yeah, guys, this is the storms that Blaze is talking about. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for Crawford County, and that, of course, includes Mountainburg down to areas just north of Alma, so I-49, Cedarville. I don't remember what the name of that highway is that stretches over from like Rudy here, but you've got Rudy, there's Ball, Dean Springs, Kane, Graphic. I mean, we can get real low on the graphic here and kind of show you some of these areas, but these storms are going to be moving east towards I-49 from Chester all the way down to the Alma, northish of Alma area off the 49, 64, and 71 interchanges. So just a heads up, if you live in this area, it's probably going to get a little rowdy here in a few minutes as these storms move through the area. There are severe thunderstorm warnings with this. And then as Blaze discussed a few moments ago, we also have warnings in Washington, Benton, Madison, and Carroll County, all the way up to Berryville, Huntsville. Does not include Rogers anymore, but Lowell, Springdale, Johnson, and East. So a lot of busy action going on right now in northwest and west central Arkansas as these storms continue to move through the area.
Somebody's asking about power outages. It looks like to me, according to what I'm seeing, we got about 74 people out of power in Benton County. As of right now, Washington County, there's nobody out, and Crawford County has 2, but that could be just a little bit delayed reporting. So I suspect that we're going to start to see some power outages, especially in Crawford County with Chester and Mountainburg, because I do think this is going to be a pretty strong storm. However, the good news is with this, it'll quickly move through the area. It's moving so fast that it won't impact you very long. The bad part is we need a lot of heavy rain, and fast moving storms like this don't bring that heavy rain.
Yeah, no, we need rain, so it's unfortunate, but Carol says, don't be jerking the camera around. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm trying to go through each little spot. Kenneth says, what kind of fuel energy are you looking at in Arkansas, Cape values through the day? Well, that's a great question. Let me see if I can pull up the storm fuel for this afternoon. We can look at that together real quick. We do have the potential for storms later today, and I can show you real quick what that's going to look like. Somebody's asking about the storm fuel today. As we go through the afternoon, you can see there is some storm energy here. These are, not incredibly high values, but it is January, Blaze, and we don't really need a ton of instability whenever it comes to storms. I mean, we can have 500 Cape, we can have 1,000 Cape. That's more than enough to get it done in January when it comes to producing severe weather, maybe even a tornado or two, which is possible across a large chunk of the state today with isolated storms. So,
and those wind fields are pretty strong too. So,
yeah.
And that's playing a big factor in why you don't need all that instability to bring the storms. But yeah, I mean, that's why we got to watch it. We can't let our guard down, and that's why the Arkansas Weather Network's here. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to be watching. I'm telling you, we've been watching we've been watching radar all morning long, even before we went live. You know, we were watching these storms in Oklahoma, how they progressed. You know, we started watching stuff as early as 7 a.m., didn't we, Zach? We were up
Oh,
early.
yeah. It's been busy. Brandon says, how did Mina get? I'm not going to say that on live, but sorry, Brandon. Maybe next time, brother. Hopefully you guys get a little bit of something before the day's over. Haley says, what are we looking at for the West Memphis area? So obviously West Memphis is on the other side of the state. We've got severe thunderstorms down western and northwestern Arkansas. Haley, maybe later tonight, the storm's moving east out of central Arkansas and east toward your location, probably after that 6, 7, 8 o'clock hour. Might have some activity later tonight, but it could be scattered. So it's tough to say, scattered, isolated. Blaze, did you see that last question from Katrina? Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah. So, yeah, Katrina, the tornado watch has been canceled for the Bentonville area. So, Bentonville County.
Yeah, Benton County and Washington have both been removed. So
Yeah.
we don't have any tornado watches active in Arkansas as of 11:59 on January 8th. So just severe thunderstorm warnings, which we're looking at now in Crawford, Madison, Washington, Carroll, and a sliver of Benton County.
I think I said,
Bentonville County?
Bentonville
It
County.
happens.
I meant to say the city of Benton.
Yeah, no, it's no, believe me, I mispronounce stuff all the time. Just wait until we're doing tornado coverage and you mispronounce an area and people are like yelling at you in the comments, which whatever. I love it. Kelly says, is Van Buren in the clear for any tornado activity? So yeah, I think for now you are there. She's asking about Van Buren, which is right here. The severe thunderstorm warning and storms themselves are moving off to the east-northeast. So I think you're going to be okay, Kelly, and Van Buren for now. Blaze, feel free to take the radar. I feel like I'm moving it all over the place. I don't want to get in trouble. Delene says,
No,
is
you're
this
good.
going to move to Harrison? Yeah, it could, but I kind of wonder, no, I think there's some potential that these storms can move toward Harrison with time over the next hour or two. There's kind of a fine line there where parts of North Arkansas will probably miss this to the west, but I think Harrison does have an opportunity to get clipped by this as it moves off to the east-northeast. Whoever asked that. I'm sorry, I missed your name. Delene.
Well, and something I want to show, you know, kind of zooming out just overall across Arkansas. You can see where all the storm activity is. It is confined to northwest Arkansas right now. You know, you see central, north central Arkansas, eastern Arkansas. You know, if you're in Texarkana, Monticello, Memphis, Jonesboro, Clinton, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, you're good right now. There is no immediate threat for you. However, this afternoon into the evening, we'll be watching those areas closely for more thunderstorm potential. But I just want to say, if you're in Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia, anywhere like that, you know, you don't have to keep an eye on the weather right now. But this afternoon and evening, you need to.
Yeah. Somebody asked about somebody made a comment about Mountainburg and said that in Mountainburg it's not super dark. The winds are nothing crazy. It's a little windy, but it's sprinkling rain. That rain's going to pick up, Kyla, here in just a minute in Mountainburg, but we appreciate the report. And Adriana Pozos is in Fayetteville. She said, how is Fayetteville? For now, it seems like the worst of it has certainly moved through Fayetteville. I think a large chunk of Fayetteville has been discontinued from the severe thunderstorm warning as well. So maybe some lingering showers before you clear out here really soon, Adriana, in Fayetteville.
Yeah, the National Weather Service looks like in Tulsa is continuing severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Madison, northern Franklin, eastern Crawford, and southeastern Washington County. So continuing severe thunderstorm warning. But again, no tornado threat with this. You know, we're not seeing any signs of that. And there's no tornado possible tag with it too. So that's good. It's really just wind, Zach. That's pretty much it right now with this line. So
that's the theme. We kind of talked about this last night and this morning on the live, and it seems like today, maybe outside of this afternoon and this evening, it seemed like this morning, mostly a wind concern with these storms kind of getting a little cranky coming out of Oklahoma. Colton says, is today's round going to miss southeast Arkansas? I think that there is some potential late tonight for storms to move east out of central, southwest, south central Arkansas and arrive at your location. Colton, but it's tough with storms being isolated and scattered. There's a chance that you could go through the evening and get nothing. I think the chances are maybe a little bit better for you tomorrow in southeast Arkansas for rain and storms.
Yeah, somebody asking about Boone County, Newton County, Harrison, Western Grove area. Western Grove, I think, could be missed by some of this. But I think Green Forest down towards Harrison, I do think this line will be moving towards your direction. It may go just to the north of you, but I still think, Zach, and I'm sure you would agree, there could still be some heavy rain moving through with this that you get clipped by. But I think the strongest storm might just go just to the north of Harrison. It will be really close, though.
It's going to be close.
It will be really close.
It's what I say on election night, too close to call. It's going to be too close to call for Harrison at this time. I think there's a chance. Mountain Home, maybe not so much with this. Well, I suppose we'll see. But April says, is this going to miss Central Arkansas? So this complex that we're talking about now, will just have potential later today, April, for some isolated scattered development of storms this afternoon and this evening.
And we're starting to get an update on power outages. Benton County, 55 out. Washington County, 5. Crawford County, 40. Sebastian County, 1. Franklin, 0. Madison, 0. Carroll, 14. Newton, 0. Johnson, 0. And Logan, 0. So it looks like kind of the leading area for power outages is Benton County down towards Crawford County.
Yeah, that makes sense given kind of what we looked at earlier. Those storms were pretty strong when they moved through that area, so that makes sense. Mallory Parton says, here I am. I've checked the gel roster. Now I'm checking the weather. Clockwork. You sound like my wife. Mary says, Bella Vista in the clear now. Yes, Bella Vista for the most part is in the clear. Maybe some lingering showers as this activity moves off to the east. I'm just trying to go through and make sure I don't miss anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at, radar scans and stuff. And, the storm itself, overall, I think, Zach, it is weakening some. Yeah. Especially Winslow down to Mountainburg. But I still think very, very, very heavy rain up around Arnett, over towards Hazel Valley, Cannon Creek, Thompson, Durham, Hicks, very heavy rain there. So,
yeah, this obviously the leading side of this is headed for Berryville now. Severe thunderstorm warning in Berryville and Huntsville. Seems like the most concentrated, strongest part though, is there south of Elkins, east of West Fork. You were right on it, man. Brentwood, Wyola, Arnett, Cannon Creek, and Thompson, Hazel Valley, Crosses, and Delaney. That stretches up from Elkins and goes down to the southwest. So if you live downstream of that, certainly expect some heavy rainfall, lightning and thunder, maybe some gusty winds. So Matthew,
looks like a comment came in. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
No, Matthew Walbert said, when is it going to get cold again for hunting, Zach? These sporadic temps are crazy. This weekend looks cooler, especially Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday of next week. So.
Let's see. Just kind of looking over at radar, and I just want to kind of ease everybody's mind. There's no tornado threat right now. We see no indication of that. These storms that are severe warned, they don't have a tornado possible tag attached to them. So that's great news. I do think, looking at what I'm seeing, it just looks like to me it's weakening. It is definitely weakening. And so there's really good news, but it's still bringing heavy rain over towards Hinesville, Huntsville, Elkins. But overall, Zach, it just to me kind of looks like this whole line's kind of weakening right now.
Yeah, I think it might be going through a little bit of a struggling phase compared to what it looked like earlier, which is great news. We need the rainfall. We just don't need the severe weather. Hopefully we can get this move off to the east-northeast and eventually out of Arkansas with no concerns, damage, or anything like that. And I wish we had more rain to spread across the state. We have a lot of people that need it, but I guess for now, we'll just have to take what we can get. Hopefully, hope for the best today and maybe tomorrow. So,
yeah, we're seeing a lot of a drought, drought conditions across the area.
Thank you, Mary. Mary says, I love watching your live broadcast because I learn city and county names. Awesome. Thank you for watching, Mary. Thank you for the app. Absolutely.
Hey, I will say, I'm still learning, names, so I may mess them up.
Hey, no, it's okay, man. When I started doing this, the live coverage, live forecasting, oh my gosh. There's parts of Arkansas, I'm from Western Arkansas, so there's parts of the state that I'm not familiar with that I've had to learn. Emily says, what time could it come through Danville or Belleville area? So for right now, we do have some showers and stuff southwest of Fort Smith that could impact sections of west central Arkansas from Russellville down to Mena up to Fort Smith, Danville, Boonville. There's just not a whole lot to it. When it moves through, unless this picks up steam really quick, It's just not anything like the stuff that's moving through Northwest and, formerly West Central Arkansas. It was moving through there earlier, but mostly just Northwest Arkansas now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some cancellations, of this severe thunderstorm warning, because it to me looks like Eureka Springs over towards Huntsville, Elkins. To me, that mainly just looks like heavy rain. There is gusty winds with it, but keep in mind, guys, to get severe weather, you need 58 miles per hour wind gust, and I just don't know that I'm seeing that with this line right now.
Yeah. I suppose we'll see what happens here over the next 20 or 30 minutes. Christy says, what is the name of our app? It's the Arkansas Weather Network app. You can get on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It's completely free, full of good stuff. We worked really hard on it, so we'd love for you guys to download it. Paul says, what concerns does Little Rock have? For now, not a whole lot of concern at all, Paul. This is all well northwest of you. I'll go ahead and Blaze, we might as well just do another update. It's been a minute since we have done one. We do have concerns for some more storms later today, some which could be severe. And Blaze, I'm going to let it go to the afternoon. I'm going to let you take this because I've done it the last couple of times. But brother, I think this is probably our window to watch, late afternoon, early evening, as storms try to get a little cranky on us.
Right. And looking, and we can zoom in a little bit here. And
sorry about my arrows on there.
No, you're good. One thing to note, and this is something that we mentioned earlier, is that this computer model, number one, you're looking at this and you're like, well, 6:30, there's going to be a strong storm around Clinton. No, because this is one computer model, and they're
just an idea.
Zach, they're not always accurate.
Yeah,
right.
Just an idea.
But what you need to know is we have to look at kind of trends, and we have to look at indications. And what we're seeing is that some of these storms could be more isolated in nature, which would mean with the wind threat, if we get enough instability, there is that tornado threat. That's why there is a low tornado risk. It's not high or anything like that, but it is low, and it's something we're going to have to watch. The team will be here. We'll be keeping a close eye on things, and be ready to go live, if we need to. But I will say, Zach, looking at these storms and with them being more isolated, it's something we're definitely going to have to watch.
Yeah.
It does look like a little bit more. It looks like a little bit higher threat, and I don't want to say higher because people are going to think it's a high threat. A little bit maybe more organized threat than what we're seeing in Northwest Arkansas right now.
Yeah, like I've been telling people all morning, overall it's a low threat. And I categorize a low threat as us seeing the potential for maybe a storm or two to cause problems. Now, I've been wrong before, be wrong again, but I think for the most part, we'll have to watch for a couple of storms this evening that maybe try to rotate or produce some strong wind gusts. They're going to be scattered, isolated. This model is, I feel like, a little bit aggressive. I'm kind of wondering if we actually do get 3, 4, 5, 6 storms or maybe just 1 or 2. Regardless, if we have 1 or 2, we'll be here to cover it with you. If we have any tornado warnings tonight, severe thunderstorm warnings. So if you live in central Arkansas or eastern Arkansas, you can see on the model we've shown you here. If you live in Little Rock, Stuttgart, Pine Bluff, Monticello, Jonesboro, Batesville, these storms, if there is a few storms tonight, they're going to move west to east. So they could impact your area. We don't know for sure where exactly the storms will form. We have a general concept with this model. But that's about all we have on this right now. There's some isolated tornado potential, maybe some strong winds later this evening across Arkansas. So,
yeah, can you pull up, Zach, the wind gust? Someone was asking about what kind of non-thunderstorm winds are we looking at today in Arkansas and Pine Bluff. I don't know if you could pull up the wind gust graphic, and we could kind of go over that. Just kind of give people an idea, because again, there's going to be non-thunderstorm winds, and some of these are going to be strong. We're already seeing them here in North Central Arkansas. We're getting a lot of winds. There it is.
So these are the current wind gusts as of 12 p.m. And as you can see here, it's very windy in western Arkansas and northwest and northern Arkansas, but the rest of the state, 20, 30 plus mile per hour gust. And I think that this will increase with time through the day as well. I can loop that for you. But as we go through the afternoon hours, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, it might be pretty windy out there. This might be a little overdone. I'm not sure. But regardless, I feel like we're not pulling hairs, we're pulling strings with that when it comes to wind gusts being over 20, 30, maybe even 40 miles per hour in spots this afternoon.
Yeah, that looks pretty strong. And so when you kind of combine this kind of thing and you're like, well, heavy rain, then you get 39 miles per hour wind gust, 44 miles per hour wind gust, it's easy to think, okay, this storm is really, really strong and it's really, really bad, when in reality it's just heavy rain and non-thunderstorm winds. But still, it's winds, and if you don't tie down stuff, it's going to blow away. I'm just saying. So
yeah.
make sure, like we were talking earlier, if you got Christmas, Christmas decorations that haven't been packed up yet, we just actually packed ours up the other day. It could get interesting with, they need to be tied down.
Yeah. So if you're just now joining us, we've been live now for, I'm not really sure how long we've been live for, maybe an hour, 45 minutes. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in Northwest Arkansas. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker, and I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas with the Arkansas Weather Network. And we're covering storms in parts of Crawford, Madison, Washington, a small sliver of Benton County, and Carroll County. And these are moving off to the east-northeast now. Don't think we have any huge issues with this, Blaze. I know we really just touched on this, but I think for the most part, just some rainfall, maybe some sporadic wind gusts. I know we've had some reports of people saying it's a little windy where they live from these storms. And that's about it for now as these move off to the east-northeast. And hopefully we can, soak up the rain they provide and get them out of here before they cause any problems.
Yeah, I just looking at what I'm seeing, I just would not be surprised if we start seeing cancellations of severe thunderstorm warnings. I mean,
Yeah.
the storm started off really strong. It had a punch with it, but then as it's progressed east, it's just, to me, I don't know, it just looks like it looks more of a heavy rain event. And even then, I question that because it's moving so fast. So it's like, it's kind of really decreasing.
We are
Did you see
about
Jessica's
to...
comment?
Did not. Is there a way to calculate how much snow this could have been? Some spots it probably could have been pretty good. I think I said it earlier in the broadcast, but this time last year, on this day last year, we were prepping for a huge winter storm the next day. So wild how things change, man. Time flies. So we did just get word that we have some new data coming here over the next probably hour or two regarding this afternoon. We're going to get some real-time sampled data that will probably help us decipher what this severe weather risk looks like for this afternoon across the state. So the Arkansas Weather Network team, between myself and Blaze and James, we will certainly have more updates on this afternoon. And Blaze, I don't know about you, but I think here over the next, 20 or 30 minutes, I think we're safe to hop off and kind of monitor this from afar. And of course, we can hop back on if we need to, because I do have a feeling that we will probably be back on later tonight. So maybe, guys, what we'll probably do is end the stream here in just a moment. And if we have continued warnings later tonight, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, we will be back on here with you, myself, Blaze, and possibly James too. We'll be here. We'll be here with you. No matter what happens, obviously we'll be here to cover it with you.
And one thing the National Weather Service in Little Rock is stating is that watching radar trends to see storms move northeast out of Tulsa, part of Arkansas, it does appear that these storms are weakening as they continue to move east, which is great news. And according to the National Weather Service, they're saying no new warnings are anticipated for the ongoing storms for the next couple of hours. So the National Weather Service is noting these storms are weakening. We're noticing that. That's great news. So just want to kind of ease the mind for a lot of people. But we don't want to say let's guard down, because this afternoon and evening, those storm chances will start to ramp back up again. If we get the cap to break. If the cap don't break, Zach, we're not going to see much of anything.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. We want to say a big thank you before we hop off. First Community Bank, Air Masters of Arkansas, 1312 Cleaning and Restoration, TCW Fiber and Internet. We have some incredible sponsors. Splash Car Wash. I mean, these local Arkansas companies that sponsor us, allow us to do this all the time, are incredible, and we hope you'll support them just like you guys support us. And remember, you can track all the wild weather changes with me, Blaze, and James, the Arkansas Weather Network, on the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app. It's completely free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store as well. We will be back this evening if needed, covering storms live where you live. Blaze, you can say goodbye before we hop off here?
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much for trusting us here at the Arkansas Weather Network. And like Zach was saying, we appreciate the sponsors. We appreciate your trust. And, hopefully it's going to be a calm night tonight.
Yeah.
But download that Arkansas Weather Network app. Keep an eye on the weather. And because you never know. Like this comment just came in from Shay. Well, it is Arkansas weather. Wildest weather. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Keeps us on our toes, that's for sure. So, all right, guys, we appreciate it. We'll be back if needed later today, and we'll be in the office monitoring storms all day. So we'll be around.